All right, guys. It's about 3:45 West Coast time on Wednesday, November 5th. So we're starting to get some reaction pieces, some articles, some commentary, folks offering their thoughts and opinions on what the election results from yesterday actually mean. But be careful on this app and don't offer an opinion that other people don't like, because they'll come into your comments and say, stop fear mongering, and, start barking orders at you, as if we as creators give two shits about things like that. But I digress. As always, when we have an event like this, everybody who's been following me for a while knows that I am a very loyal subscriber to the Bulwark, and one of their kind of lead writer, I guess, Jonathan V. Last, one of their main guys, along with Sarah and Tim. He puts out a daily newsletter called the Triad. It's always a good way to start the day. Everybody who follows me should follow the Bulwark. I'll tag their TikTok page below so you guys can at least follow them on here. But I'm a paid subscriber to their page, have been for a while, and they're really hitting it out of the park over the last year with the folks that they are hiring to be reporters and columnists. I'll talk about that later. But they just got Katherine Rampell for economics, which is amazing. I love her stuff. Very, very smart. Today's Triad newsletter from JVL is called The Anatomy of a Wave. Hispanic voters abandon Republicans, and the Trump 2028 wars are next. Usually he calls it the Triad because it comes in 3 parts. Today it has 4 parts. Okay. We shouldn't overstate what happened last night, but we shouldn't understate it either. Today is the beginning of the end game on Donald Trump. Boom. I love that sentence. Today is the beginning of the end game on Donald Trump. Yesterday's results put in motion a number of dynamics that might bring about the defeat of Trumpism and will definitely force Trump and Republicans into decision points earlier than they had hoped. Hispanic voters in New Jersey. I think JVL lives in New Jersey, near Manhattan. First part. The single most important data point last night was the Hispanic vote. Union City, New Jersey was JVL's bellwether here because it is a heavily Hispanic town. It's 81.6% Hispanic. And with the following record for Donald Trump over the last several elections. 2016, Trump got 19% of the vote in Union City. 2020, he got 28%. 2024, he got 41%. So up by 10 points, up by like 13 points after that. Republican Jack Ciattarelli, who was running for governor in New Jersey yesterday, how did he do in that county? He got 15.1%. A 26-point drop compared to what Donald Trump got just a year ago. 26 points among Hispanic voters, abandoning the Republican candidate. That is not a typo. Union City is in Hudson County, which swung 22 points towards Democrats from the 2024 election. Remember, following Election Day a year ago, a lot of Hispanic voters swung towards Donald Trump. And Republicans were basically saying, we have Hispanic voters now. We're winning Hispanic voters now. That didn't even last a year, and they've lost 25 points just in that one county. So that great Hispanic realignment theory is no longer operable, and the polling on Hispanic disapproval of Trump is as real as it gets. And it will get worse because Trump is now committed to his deportation reign of terror. He got his big, beautiful bill with all of his ICE funding for the next 3 years. He spent the money on DHS and is in the process of hiring thousands of new ICE agents. Having insisted that America should be a where are your papers society, there's no walk back for him on that his base will accept. He can't back away from the deportation regimen that he has put in place. Also, this reversal with Hispanic voters, and this is a really good point, reversal with Hispanic voters is going to play havoc with polling for the 2026, the midterms. Models based on 2024 demographic splits are going to be wildly unreliable, and the Hispanic vote shift away from Republicans is a fast-moving target. It's likely going to keep going up because Trump can't walk away from his deportation regimen. We're going to keep seeing these videos. We're going to keep having ICE agents invading these neighborhoods. I think today they went into a fucking daycare center in Chicago and dragged out one of the daycare teachers, a woman. Second section. So Virginia, I think Virginia's governors are term limited to 1 4-year term. The current governor who's getting bounced out is Glenn Youngkin. He was supposedly, one of these like reasonable, normie Republicans who hadn't gone like full MAGA. And people were talking about his like presidential aspirations, and they were like, he's the future of the Republican Party. I remember when there was a lot of talk about that. Section 2 of JVL's newsletter is Younkinism is dead. Sorry, Glenn. There was a brief period in 2021 when normie Republicans talked themselves into believing that Glenn Youngkin was the future. That was never going to work, but today that model has officially died. Youngkin was so unpopular that Virginia swung 16 points towards Democrats in that race in 4 years. Abigail Spanberger, the incoming Democratic mayor, got 57.2% of the vote, the largest vote share of any Democrat statewide in recent memory. That's a massive number. In addition, Democrats look set to pick up at least 10 seats in the state House of Delegates, and they're going to add seats to their control of the state Senate as well. This is the kind of electoral apocalypse you would expect during, I don't know, a pandemic or a deep recession. Section 3, lame duck or Incredible Hulk. So, Republicans are about to have a come-to-Jesus conversation about Trump 2028. Steve Bannon said Trump's going to get a third term, but Steve Bannon is only happy when people are talking about Steve Bannon. Who gives a shit about Steve Bannon? But he said that. Donald Trump has teased that a bunch, although I think it was last week or the week before, he appeared to walk that back and say that he's not eligible to run again. But who knows? I don't think you can discount that he's going to at least try to run for a third term, because he just does shit until somebody makes him stop. And who's going to stop him? 3 different types of Republican got blown out last night. In Virginia, a wild-eyed MAGA proxy lost by 15 points. That's Winsome Earl Sears, who seemingly built her entire gubernatorial campaign on hating trans kids and trans people. In New Jersey, we had the Chitterelli guy who was kind of like a Glenn Youngkin normie. He lost by 13 points. And in New York City, Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo after he lost the primary, and Cuomo lost by 9 points. Republican commentator Eric Erickson tweeted the following: lame duck status for Trump is going to come even faster now. Trump cannot turn out the vote unless he is on the ballot, and that is never going to happen again. I think that's realistic. This is going to prompt a series of conversations. I can tell you right now how the factions will break down. 4 groups. Republicans who have been secretly desperate to move on from Trump since 2019. We'll talk about how he's a lame duck and the party needs to figure out its future. Jesus. Who comes after Trump? J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio both think that they're the future. They can't announce that they're running in 2028 while they're still serving in Trump's administration. Who comes after Trump for Republicans? That's a good question. 2, MAGA will insist that the party is cooked without Trump, but that it's not entirely clear that Trump can't run again in some way for a third term. The Mitch McConnell class, who only care about power, will fixate on trying to stem the losses in 2026 by A, sticking with Trump publicly, while B, casting about for legal procedural gambits that might prevent a congressional takeover by Democrats. 2026 is going to be the year of voter suppression for Trump and Republicans in Congress. They're going to do everything they can legislatively, and Trump will do everything he can via executive orders to suppress Democratic votes and throw people off voter rolls, make it easier to throw out ballots after they're cast, etc., and on and on and on and on. Donald Trump will not permit any Republican to openly position themselves to run in 2028. That's what I was just talking about, because the minute he allows that, he ceases to be the main character in Republican politics. For both psychological and financial reasons, this is not something he can allow. Yeah, I wrote down JD and Marco. We just talked about them. But I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to run for president. She can announce whenever she wants. I think Tucker Carlson is going to run for president. He can announce whenever he wants. So how does Trump tamp down the lame duck story? By going full Hulk smash. And what's he been talking about lately? I expect Trump will try to kill the filibuster this week and increase the level of chaos and polarization everywhere. Instead of receding into the background as most lame duck presidents do, he will up his play for attention dominance. And who's going to stop him? Republicans in Congress? No. He's just going to throw tantrums. He's just going to throw tantrums between now and the midterms. And then he'll probably do that for 2 more years after that if Democrats take the House. Section 4, elections have consequences. A bunch of dynamics will emerge in the coming weeks that will interact in unpredictable ways. For example, 1, Trump will take increasingly aggressive steps to dominate attention, creating more loyalty tests for elected Republicans at a moment when they see exactly how much of a near-term liability he is. He's not going to help anybody in 2028 if he's not on the ticket. Oh, God. 2, as elected Republicans absorb yesterday's results and get under the hood with the numbers, you will see Republicans start to retire as some of them run for the efforts. 3, that will create some opportunities for Democrats in the midterm. 4, okay, this one. The Texas redistricting gambit will, in theory, create more net Republican House seats, but it will also create slightly less safe Republican seats, requiring Republicans in those seats to spend more resources to hold seats they assumed would be locked down. What that means is, so in Texas, in order to create 5 more Republican seats, they had to dilute Republican voters from other safe Republican seats to shove them in with Democrats to create a Republican seat. So that makes those existing seats less safe for Republicans, and it's going to make them campaign harder and spend more money and raise more money. That was 4, I think. 5, the Virginia results will likely result in another mid-cycle redistricting, meaning that, so because Democrats won so big in Virginia last night, it's safe to assume that they're going to do some redistricting to try to add more Democratic seats, just like California is going to do because Proposition 51 last night as well. If Republicans kill the filibuster, then the gloves come off the minute a Democrat gets into the White House. Say hello to the 51st state, Washington, D.C., and the 52nd state, Puerto Rico, as Donald Trump likes to say. Republicans will be torn between these factions whose interests are in tension, like Trump loyalists, Republican apparatchiks who just want power, and MAGA insurgents like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So JBL is not trying to paint a picture of a regime in terminal decline because he doesn't think Trumpism is there yet. Trump still holds an enormous amount of power and has a lot of room to maneuver. Things could get much worse before they get any better. I think they're going to get much, much, much worse before they get any better because Trump's going to be coming to the end and he's going to start flailing around like a fucking lunatic. I think it's going to get a lot worse in so many ways. But the momentum of Trumpism has been stopped. That sentence I love. It's in the next to last paragraph. The momentum of Trumpism has been stopped by last night. The 2025 elections have created real problems for the regime and its political project, and we can finally see a way forward that potentially ends in victory over Trump. The only problem is that it's not enough to turn Trumpism out of power. There can be no, and I've been saying this for months, there can be no lasting victory over illiberalism until the Republican Party chooses to abandon its illiberal project, meaning abandon its hopes of autocracy, dictatorship, theocracy, whatever. It's not going to go away permanently until their own voters turn it away permanently. So that is today's Triad newsletter from JVL from the Bulwark. I'll tag them below. Please go follow their TikTok page, and please go to thebulwark.com and subscribe. They have great stuff, great articles, great writers, great columnists, and great podcasts every single day. Okay, I'm going to go take a nap.